Good evening everyone, it's Friday evening and we've been ploughing here most of the day, making good progress. I'm down to the last couple or 3 acres here in this section of the field, and it's probably another couple of acres then just further over, not very much left. I'm sure Jerry should be well on with that end of it. I haven't been over that way in a few hours, so I just don't know exactly how much of it he's done, but I presume he'd have quite a good hole in it. So we'd like to think we should be finished everything down to maybe a little bit of headlands that might be just left for ploughing tomorrow. A lot of the headlands over this side, I'm kind of taking them with me as I'm going along, so all the headlands and right round to more or less to these few trees here right in front of us is done. So when I finish here, I'll just do the headlands right around here, and it'll leave just some headland then over at as we call it, the back gate. There'll be a couple of long strips over there to be done. So yeah, our back is well broke, as they say. Yeah, another couple of hours should nearly see us out this evening. It's just coming 5:30, so yeah, we'll not be working too late this Friday evening. We've had a good day drying wise on it. It was fairly mild today and some intermittent sunshine, and you can see on the earlier ploughing how much it's dried out already, which it really does need it, because apart from those wet areas that I was talking about yesterday, the soil even over this side, it's damp of itself and kind of sticky-ish because it's sticking to the boards of the plough, and you'll see that when I'll mount the camera at the back for a little bit of footage in a few minutes, and you'll kind of see just the way it's sticking to it. I'm having to get out and clean the boards every few runs, more or less. I'm having to get out and clean them just to try and keep the soil moving off them as freely as it can, try and bury as much of the trash as possible. At the minute, a lot of it is shaking off on the way back over the field. The ground here is quite, we'd call it jandery. It's fairly stony, and you'll see a lot of movement on the plough bodies, just hopping up and down over the stones. But yeah, no, it's sticking fairly well. I'll probably have to get out, and maybe when I get back over here I'll see how much of it falls off. Might have to get out and just clean it off again, which is a real pain because it does slow you down. We had our Dio back today, the wild Dio. I had somebody asking me on yesterday's video, so I've just seen some comments coming up on my phone earlier. I didn't get a chance to reply to any of them yet, but I seen the comment coming up just asking would I be worried about TB being spread maybe from the deer to any of the suckler cows as they're grazing here beside us. And I would be a little bit concerned about it. You don't see the deers over this way. It's a couple of years since I've seen them this direction. The last time I seen them here, they were in a group of, I'd say there was maybe 12 or 15, maybe 18 of them. And what we done that time was we set up a crow scarer or crow banger, and just standard gas banger. Set it up in the batch of trees over here, and just let it run away for about a week or so, and that done the job. That got rid of them fairly quickly. So we'll probably do the same again, just in case that they are coming back over this direction. Yeah, you never know what they're carrying, I suppose, any of the wildlife. So you'll probably better be a little bit safe than sorry. Yeah, what other questions was I asked? Oh yes, somebody asked me also as well about the date for planting the maize. They want to know, is it getting a little bit late for planting maize? Not in this area, it's not. There's very little of the maize that has to be planted around here is actually planted yet. I'd imagine maybe in some certain areas or certain varieties have to be planted by a certain date, but around here they usually don't start planting until the first week in May. And there hasn't been any planted yet, but that's probably more down to the weather over the last week. That bit of rain was keeping fellas from getting into the fields and getting going on it. But this dry spell now is supposed to be a dry week coming up next week, and if that happens, I'd imagine it'll get into full swing. The guy that's going to drill in the maize here isn't due to come here until sometime around the 10th or just after the 10th of May. So yeah, you're just coming into the window now for getting it planted around here anyway. So yeah, that's all the questions I can think of that was asked. Yeah, I'll probably answer any other questions that was asked at some point tonight on the comment section. I don't always have time to answer all the questions. I try to answer as many as I can, and I do take quite a bit of time out to try to get them answered. But if there's days that I'm just too busy, I just won't be able to get around to it. And usually then, if you get a couple of videos up and you're not going to get back to the older questions. But I do read all the comments, and I try to give it a little like or hit the little heart beside it, and that'll let you know that I've seen it or read it anyway. So but anyway, I'll set up the GoPro now in a couple of places, and I'll get a little bit of footage before I finish this area here. So I'm up on the golf course now. We've got that little bit of ploughing finished. Actually, where I was ploughing is just a few hundred metres straight ahead of us, where I'm pointing here. And literally just before I started recording, the little Dio walked across and in through the trees, so she's still floating around in that area. So we're going to have to set the banger up and try and shift her on. Yeah, there's 14 cows and 14 calves up here at the minute. The cows are all what's classed as the lesser ones on the ICBF. They're all 1, 2 and 3 star. The 4-star cows and 5-star cows are on different plot of land, and they'll be getting with the Charolais bull. These ones here would get with the Limousine bull. As you can see here, there's a couple of cows and calves going into one of the bunkers. They spend a lot of time in the bunkers. The calves you could come up here and all the calves could be lying in the bunker, because it's kind of down below anywhere that they would get any drafts or a breeze. They're out of the way of the breeze, and the sand too would be a little bit warmer for them to lie in. So it's a great place for shelter, not only because of the bunkers but all the trees that's in it. There's rows of trees planted all over the place, and on a cold windy day the cows will all be standing amongst the trees and taking shelter, and the calves. So like it's very good for grazing. It can be a pain if you're slurrying it or fertilising it, or if you have a little bit of topping to do or something like that. It can be a pain, but because you're driving around all the trees. But apart from that, it is a good job. The calves are all in good form, as you can see. But yeah, the cows use the trees as well as scratchers. You'll see them walking around them, and if you look at some of the trees there, you'll see that up to about 5 foot, a lot of the branches are broken, or the green will be rubbed off because they're walking around and scratching on them all the time. So they like it here. There's a couple of cows that I'd rather wasn't here, because there's no facilities here for no holding pen or anything like that. And the likes of this girl here, even though she's very quiet and standing here at the minute, if a couple or 3 people come out into this field at the minute and she thought for a second that you were going to herd them up or move them somewhere else, she'd run to the furthest end of the field. That's her usual move. She's quite happy here. She knows once I'm on my own that she's in no danger. This girl here would be along the same lines, and this other blue one here, there's 3 or 4 that probably shouldn't be up here, but we'll worry about that for another day. But it is very nice up here, very quiet and peaceful, and there's never really much annoyance when you're up here. There's not really any houses close by it, and yeah, it's a great place to keep cattle, there's no doubt about it. But that's really it for now. Tomorrow there's a few different jobs going on. I'll be finishing off that ploughing, obviously. That's one of the jobs, and there's also the piece of land that we bought last year that we done a little bit of tidying up on. It's now dry enough that we're going to move a track machine into it, and we're going to start tidying around the ditches, and we have some fencing done, but there's some other fencing still to be done. So I'll try and video a little bit of what's going on up there tomorrow as well. So until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.